Hello YouTube chess lovers and my friends, this is Gunjan here and welcome to my 8th episode of Queen Trap Sack Lines. In this episode, I'm going to show you one of the extraordinary counter trap in the English defense where black sacrificed the queen on the 12th move of the game. Now the good point I like about this opening is you can apply it against both d4 and c4. So let's say if your opponent start with d4, then you can continue with e6, and in this game white plays c4 where black replies with b6. Okay, we have d4 transposing back into the queen's pawn game. Black plays e6, and now one of the popular choice by white, knight to f3. Bishop to b7 by black. And if you check this position in online database, here the highestly played move is g3, which has a clear intention to transpose the game back to the Catalan opening. As a proper English defense player, black should continue with this thematic move, bishop captures f3. The point is, when white recapture, yes indeed black has given up the bishop pair, but in return he get some structural weaknesses on the white king side, and in a long run black can argue that they are more sufficient to create a full point. Okay, now it's time to grab the center, so black plays d5, and accordingly white tried to put the pressure on the d5 square with knight to c3, and as you can see I have highlighted by the arrows, white has a very effective plan such as queen to b3, f4, bishop to g2, and put a lot of pressure on the d5 square. Here black has tried various responses, but I'm going to propose this tricky move, d captures c4. Well, at first sight this looks so stupid, right? Because free of charge, white bishop has been developed. But I guess at this point both the players has their own trump. As a black, you have some of the structural weaknesses which you can easily aiming for in the middle game, where on the counterpart white has not only obtained the bishop pair, but he has a leading piece development, and on top of everything right now white has a simple threat to play the move d5 and get rid of his isolated queen pawn. Now as a black, obviously you cannot allow this, so thematic move is c6, controlling the d5 square. But guess what? White says, nope sweetie, I'm going to play the move d5 anyways. The big point is, it doesn't matter however black capture on d5. Let's say in this game black continue with e captures d5, and then white deliver this nasty punch, knight captures d5, bam. Obviously you cannot take this knight. The simple reason is, after c captures d5, queen captures d5, attacking two soft spots, and if black exchange the queen, then after bishop captures d5, black will lose the exchange and in fact the game. So that is right out of the equation, and if black cannot capture this knight, then don't you think white has a huge advantage? Well, of course, right. White is better in this position, but here comes the tricky part, as black is going to continue with this super surprising move, knight to e7. Afterwards, it is white who has to be very careful, and the big time trap is set right here. There's a funny story associated when first time this position happened on the board. Black, who is the in charge of the white piece, his opponent played the move knight to e7 and offered him the draw, where Black stared at his opponent and say from the inside, "Are you get nuts? Can't you see your queen is losing and you offering me a draw? Completely ridiculous." Well, naturally that will be the reaction of many of your opponent, as their eyes will literally lit up after they see this continuation, which wins the black queen with knight to f6 check. The most amazing part about this move order is, if you check this position in online database, there are 10 games played with exactly the same position, including 7 are the master games. Where here black response is forced, black has to capture this knight. Afterwards, white will continue with this obvious move, bishop captures f7 check, and after king takes f7, you can see easily black queen is unprotected and white will simply snap off it. So now if you count the material at this point, white has a queen for 2 knights and a pawn, which is generally not a good compensation for the black. But as happened in chess, some positions are very special, and this is one of them. Now before I move on, I like you to pause this video and find out a sequence where mystery behind this whole position can be revealed. Okay, are you ready? Did you find this first accurate move, knight to d5? Black has a very cunning idea. He wants to play bishop to b4 check and then nabbing the white queen, something which white need to pay attention immediately. Here it doesn't matter whether white continue with bishop to d2 or castle on the king side. Both will be treated equally. Let's say in this game, black continue with castle on the king side. Afterwards, black reveal his nasty idea, bishop to g7. Surprisingly enough, here white queen has the only space to go, namely queen to d6. But before we look at it, the important point I like to highlight here that if white goes for this transaction, queen captures h8, then after the simple move, bishop captures h8, black obtain 2 knights against rook and a pawn, which is generally a good trade for the black, and as confirmed by the professional engine, this position is slightly better for the black. But the most important question is, many of you will ask, well, if there is a 1 square, then why can't you just go there? Queen to d6, what else? Well, here comes the cute point, and I hope you have seen it. Yup, the devastating move, bishop to f8, attacking the queen. And if you carefully look at this position, the white queen has once again only space to hide, namely queen to d8, and after that, yup, we have the forcing draw on the board with bishop to g7, queen to d6, and now bishop to f8 confirms the threefold repetition. What a wonderful trap and a game. That's it guys, I hope you enjoy and learn this amazing queen sacrifice line in the English defense. Remember, at this point, play the move knight to e7 and tease your opponent with asking a draw. And I bet many of your opponent, just like black, play the move knight to f6, thinking that they are going to win your queen and in fact the game. But after knight to d5, it is only white who get the root shock. In the tournament practice, if you meet a higher rank opponent, then this line is definitely worth trying, as from the opening it's pretty much forced. And just like Bilak and other grandmasters, many of your opponent will fall into this and you will get some healthy points. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to like, subscribe and comment, and I'll meet you in my next episode very soon. Bye and take care.